Hello, and welcome to 5 Minute Math. Today we are looking at the sixth grade concept of situational variability. This is standard 6.13b in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 10 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we have a school bus being used for a field trip, and then which situation about the school is most likely yields data without variability? All right, so we know what without means, right? Means not or none, but this is our big word here. And if we look on our reference materials, you're not going to see that word variability showing up anywhere with any type of conversion or definition. So that is a vocabulary word you need to have before you come into the STAAR test. So what does variability mean? Well, let's look. There's a word that we might be familiar with that's very similar, variable. So in math, when we're talking about a variable, it is something that represents an unknown quantity, right? Like x or y. We'll put letters in there, m, right? It's a quantity that is unknown, and so we represent it with a letter, a variable. So we do that because it can change. And that is kind of our key word that we need to remember when we're thinking about variability. It has the ability to vary or the ability to change. And so variability means which of these situations is most likely going to involve something without variability. So that means we're looking for something that has no change, something that's most likely going to stay the same. That's what without variability is going to give us. So let's take a look at these four situations. Let's see if we can figure out the one that's most likely going to stay the same. All right, so the number of the seats on the school bus. Well, if we think about a school bus like this, it's pretty long. The number of students on the bus might change, definitely, but the seats are definitely going to stay the same, right? You're not adding and removing seats every time that you are driving. So I could definitely see this being something that doesn't change. The number of seats is going to stay the same. The number of students on the bus will change. Okay, so let's look at B, the speed of the school bus. Well, that will definitely change. Every time you come to a stop sign, right, or a signal, you have got to slow down, you've got to move on, and then you've got to accelerate out. And so the speed of the school bus is definitely going to go up and down and up and down and up and down depending on the starts and the stops it gets from picking up kids and dropping off kids. So that will change, which means we're not looking at this one because we want the one that has got no change. The temperature inside the school bus. You might make an argument that it's most likely going to going to stay the same. There's going to be a little bit of change when you open the door, close the door. Even if you got air conditioning on the bus, every time you open and close the door, it's always if it's hot outside, it's always going to be a little bit hotter up there. So the air conditioning or the heating, if it's in winter, is going to keep it relatively the same, but not 100%, right? The more people you get in there, body temperature is going to increase the just the overall temperature from all the students. So I'm going to say kind of the same, depending on if you have, you know, air conditioning or heating. And then the amount of fuel in the fuel tank, well, that's going to change a lot. The longer you go without filling up, it's going to go down, 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 and then you fill up, goes all the way back up to the top, and then down, 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 down again. So it definitely changes. So we're kind of stuck between the temperature that is kind of the same, and then the number of seats. Those are bolted to the floor. Those are not going to change unless you sell it and totally, redo the entire inside of the bus. So let's go with A.